Hey, this is Kay, and another one in that series of Hate Your Stinking Job. I was talking to someone recently, and we are talking about, different cars. I mean, I'm not really crazy about cars in the sense that I know what a speedy, cute car is. I mean, I figure if it looks nice and shiny, got four tires, we're good. But we were talking about different cars. There's Hyundai, Kias, and all that stuff. And I was making a comment that the Hyundais, they definitely have revved up their game. And actually, from when I used to remember them, they used to remind me of what a Kia is right now. So the Hyundai is really looking like a decent car to me. It looks speedy. It looks very good. It looks like it rivals some of these other big name brand cars. And then we got to talking about Kia and the idea that Kia is like the lesser known cheapy car, and it's like I really don't care. When I was looking for a car way back, I mean I think I looked at I really didn't look at the Kia per se, but it was definitely in the mix of the economy car that you could afford at the time, right? So we just talking about different things like that, cars and different things that if you're on a budget, the kind of things that you settle for in a sense, so you could work up your money, so you could save your money, and you have to spend extremely a lot of money on some stuff that really doesn't matter. And someone flat out said that they would never buy a Kia because the status of it. It just didn't seem like it was something that was worth buying. They would rather extend themselves and get something more in the line of like a Honda or something like that. And you know, I don't know. I guess I'm crazy, but for me, I hate wasting money. And if the tool is gonna do the same thing for me, like the other tool, and it's not gonna cost me a lot, I mean, I'm all for it. So when they mentioned that, it kind of got me in the mode of thinking about online businesses. A lot of folks that I've talked to before, who I've encountered throughout the years with business, their thing is they wouldn't do certain things online. Um, there's certain they think certain things are hard, or they just don't have the time or the patience to do certain things. And it's like, you know what? I'm looking at it as you go to a job 8 hours a day, right? You're there, you hate it, where it's driving you nuts, and somehow you can do it, right? But something online that says, you could do this for a day, a couple hours a day, or this is what I need you to do, somehow you can't muster up, they can't muster up the strength or the determination to focus long enough to learn that one thing to do it. Now, I've definitely got out of the mode of trying to figure out how this internet stuff works and trying to piece it all together and do, SEO and blogging. To me, that's, oh my God, that's the kind of technical stuff that if you love it, you could dive right into it and do it. If you're not a lover of it, it's going to drive you up a wall, right? But there's certain things online that, people could get into that make them money, but they're so, I don't know, wrapped up in the idea that it's not fast enough. Like, that new speedy car versus, the Honda Civics versus a Kia Rio, whatever it is. It's like, oh, I'd rather have, it's like, where you going, right? You can't do anything. It's like your money doesn't allow you to buy that new souped up, BMW or that Toyota Camry. What it allows you to do is buy a Kia Rio that gets you from point A to point B. What's the difference to you, right? You're thinking that's where you want to go, right? It doesn't make a difference at this point because you don't have the money to buy that speedy car. What if you did start out small and eventually you get that speedy car? Does that, make sense? The same thing online. It's like, you can't do SEO and you don't know nothing about blogging and building a website and all that other stuff. But there's things that you can do, right? There's things that with a little time and a little patience that you can learn and that you could eventually build up to the point where either you're doing SEO or you're doing something else that's making you a lot more money online. Now, when I started, I knew nothing about none of these tools and widgets. In fact, when I got my smartphone, it was like, what the hell am I going to do with this apart from make phone calls and text. It's like they're telling me about apps and widgets, and it's like, what the hell is that? All I need the phone to do is take voicemail messages, and I could call someone, and I did like the text feature, and it's like, okay, I'm set. There's nothing else on this thing I need to know. But as time developed, you realize there's so much more you could do with it. The same with your online business and quitting your stinking job. If you have a job that you've been at, you somehow you could do it in your sleep. It's the same kind of thing. You got to start somewhere small, right? You got to do something within your realm right now that you know you're capable of doing. It's not a good idea to overstretch yourself to think that, okay, if I just go bold and I'm gonna do this, and you tell yourself this magic, psych yourself up. Okay, this year I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it big. And then the end of the year coming, you're like, what the hell happened? I did nothing. It beats your psyche up to think that, what, I'm never gonna get out of this rut. So what I suggest is work within your means. Just like if you have to get a Kia is it, right? It has four wheels. It's gonna get you to point A to point B. The same thing on life. Work within your means. Work within your expertise. You can't recruit. You hate to talk to people. You don't like blogging. You don't like placing classified ads. There's things that you can do online that doesn't require that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You can start off small and eventually grow up to where you're talking about money like the big boys. But you know what? You have to learn that kind of thing. And the funny thing is, and I just thought of this, it's so weird because I've looked at expensive cars before, like those, and yeah, like I mentioned, I'm not a car person. So what I think is expensive or over the top, probably someone said, oh my God, that's a common kind of car. But I've looked at the Lexus RX 350, and I thought, oh my God, it's such a sweet kind of, SUV kind of a thing. And, when I looked at it, and they're talking about the prices to replace your tires, prices to replace, different things that break down, and you're thinking, well, if something happens to that bad boy, it's gonna cost a pretty penny. Versus if it was if it was a different economy car, it'd be a totally different ball game to replace things on it. And it's like, you know what? If you're not at that point where that makes sense for you, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna buy a brand new top of the line kind of car, you can't afford to replace the tires. If something breaks down, the oil change. It's like, it makes no sense. You kind of have it because you can't afford to maintain it. The same kind of concept with the business online. You get into these big, high-priced ass businesses, and you can't maintain it because you don't know anything about SEO. You don't know anything about marketing. You don't know some of the things about lead capture pages and opt-ins and autoresponders and email series, and you go, what the hell? So you're overstretching yourself trying to maintain a high-priced business that requires all these different pieces to it moving that you're not aware of, that you might just have a basic knowledge of what it is, but don't know how to really dive in and use it to your benefit. So that's my, thing for the day. If you hate your stinking job, work within your means right now to try and get out of it. Inch by inch, they say it's a cinch. And, it's one of those, I guess, crazy cliches, but, the older you get, you realize, some of those folks, those older folks in our lives that have been telling us stuff, they really imparted some good knowledge that maybe if we took advice of it earlier, things would have been different. So hopefully you I know it was a rambling on of kind of different things come in, but hopefully you got some value from that. And I'll see you next time when we talk about hating that stinking job and how to quit it.